And a pleasant good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, from the Anoka Middle School pool, otherwise known as the Fred Moore Pool, where tonight we've got a duel in the pool between two conference rivals, two district rivals, as the Champlin Park Rebels take on the Anoka Tornadoes. And we're excited to bring it for you here tonight on QCTV. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Anderson. Nice to have you with us. Super excited to bring this to you tonight. You're going to see a lot of really talented athletes jumping in the pool for both of these schools tonight, and we are excited to bring this to you. So, as you know, I'm Tim. My voice is nasally. We're battling a cold. But we brought somebody in here who actually knows a lot about swimming. And because I'm a high school teacher, I love to see high school students have an opportunity. So, member of the girls swim and dive team, cat leader, everything, you name it, she's in everything. Jessica Jensen joins us tonight to help us out with all the swimming and really teach me something tonight. We get to reverse roles, Jessica. This is super exciting. Thanks for being here with us.
Yes, thank you so much, Tim, for that introduction. Yes, I've been competitively swimming since I was about 8 years old, and I've been a part of the Anoka girls swim team since 7th grade all the way to senior year. So it's pretty sad to wrap up my last season this year, but I'm excited for this opportunity.
And you've spent a lot of time around this boys team here in the last month or so, and tell us what we're going to look for tonight.
Yeah, I've been a manager for 2 years, and I'm really excited to watch them all swim. They've all been working really hard as they come up on, I think they're about 8th week in the season. And we're looking for some really competitive swims tonight. Some of the people to look out for will be Dante Frankie, Abe Olson, Wesley Anderson, Levi Garberg. Some really good swimmers out there tonight, and really great divers like Leo Kenny. It'll be really great to see.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And Champlin Park brings in no slouches themselves. Obviously, Kipton Helmrich, we talk about him. He's one of the state qualifiers. He's qualified in 8th grade. He was a state qualifier. I mean, he's really talented young man. And along with many of their other captains, Jake Pullman, very talented swimmers and divers on this Champlin Park team as well. We expect a close match tonight, don't we?
Yes.
So it should be fun. We're going to start with some JV relay action for both sides. Champlin Park's going to be in the white swim caps. Anoka is going to be in the black swim caps as we start with the 200-yard medley relay. These are the young JV swimmers, 2 7th graders to get us started. It's Leo Unverzegd and Elijah Olson beginning things. Elijah Olson for Anoka and Leo Unverzegd for the Champlin Park Rebels. They look back waiting for the timer, and we're just about ready to get going. 4 swimmers, different disciplines here, right?
Yes, you'll see all the strokes used in this race. It will start off with the backstroke, then move on to breaststroke, then fly, and then free.
So it'll get faster as we go.
Yes,
So we'll keep an eye on that one. Just the 2 lanes being used here for this one. It's a JV race, so we'll alternate JV and varsity for those of you watching at home. So you get to see some of the younger kids early, and then you'll see the varsity guys hit the pool right behind them. So they're just about set to get going. Nice crowd here at the Fred Moore Pool, and it gets loud in here.
Yes, it definitely does.
So you may turn your volume down at some. Usually you do that for me anyway, but now you get to turn it down for other reasons. We'll see what happens. Just about set. We hope. Nope, they're still waiting for us. I think that must be a watch or some, maybe an electrical issue.
Yeah, seems like the timer is not working. Scoreboard.
Well, that's just what we needed, Jessica.
Oh, yes,
just
perfect.
More time for us to vamp, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We could say this. It was very cold outside this week. It is not cold in the pool.
Definitely not cold in the pool.
If you want to hang out, this is where you want to come if you need to get over a cold. Just come in here, sit in the seats.
If you ever want to come to a sauna for free, come to the swim meet.
This is it. That is exactly it. I love it. All right, so they're double-checking the timer, make sure it works. And now they'll reset this thing, and then we'll get ready to go. And these young swimmers are just ready to go, eager to swim, and we're eager to watch. Quick thanks to our guys at the QCTV studio. Then we're off and running. Champlin Park got the good jump out, and Leo Unverzegd has the early lead here for Champlin Park. Very fast start on the backstroke. And we'll see if he makes the quick turn, and will. Nice flip, and he's developed a nice little lead on the young Anoka player. Elijah Olson needs to kind of catch up a bit. Nice to get a big lead in these relays, right?
Yes, turns are also really important, so you really want to watch out for the turns. That's about right after the start, the second fastest point you'll ever see a swimmer is out from their turn.
So they're going to be looking to make up some time. Adam Whitehouse hits the pool for Champlin Park, and now here comes TJ Moronga for Anoka as they work the butterfly.
The breaststroke.
Breaststroke. Sorry, breaststroke. You're right.
Yeah.
I misheard what you said earlier.
It's okay.
So working the breaststroke here. It's tough to make up ground, though, in these strokes, right?
Yeah. I'd say if you get a lead, you're kind of going to stick with it. But I'd say freestyle is where it all comes down to the end.
Obviously, they have their anchor legs for those two. Jamison Stover for Champlin Park waiting along with Cody Subi for the Anoka Tornadoes. But we wait for our third swimmers to hit the pool. Jasper Brendel hits. And now he'll do the butterfly. Promise.
Yes.
We promise that's the butterfly this time.
Promise now it's butterfly.
Exactly. And then now also Jordan Gillian, a freshman, hits the pool as well. So staying with a lot of young folks. Freshmen, we got a couple seventh graders here. The future of these swim programs early on.
Yes, it's great to see.
Champlin Park off to a big lead now. They've really stretched it out to the point where they're going to be almost a full length ahead as they hit the final turn. Stover's going to get in for the freestyle. Really impressive.
Yes.
What do you try to do here if you're swimming? Is this just now more about your own personal times? Trying, if you know you're, or do you not look over at the other lane, or you don't sense it?
I'd say while you're swimming, especially with butterfly, it's pretty hard to look over to the other lane and see the other swimmer just because you want to make sure you're looking forward and have your head down at the wall. But I'll be looking to get some fast swimming in on the freestyle.
There it is. So we'll get our last look here as Subi hits the pool. It's already a race one for Champlin Park. That was really impressive what they were able to do. Minute 14, it looks like, all the way across. That's really good. As Subi will finish up his run. Makes the last turn and will come in. So a good start for Champlin Park on the JV side here tonight to get a win in that relay. And now we're going to see the guys come up here in just a second. And this will be a little bit more of a full pool.
Yes, it
So
will
it's
be.
good to get us started with something easy, Jessica. Give us 2 lanes to mess
Yeah,
with.
2 lanes just to look at.
But now we're going to get coming up 7 lanes of swimming as Anoka finally touches the wall there at the end. Nice start for those Champlin Park JV swimmers. And now the 200 meter for the guys will come up. Champlin Park's going to be in lanes 2, 4, and 6. Anoka will be in 3, 5, and 7. You talked about Abe Olson, Levi Garberg, Wesley Anderson. There they all are in lane 5.
Yes, you'll really want to look out for those guys. They're probably the fastest ones on Anoka.
Same thing with Kipton Helmrich. You're going to see him along with Vincent Pham, Nash Woodward, Henry Finke. So lanes 4 and 5, the ones to keep an eye on in this race.
Yes, I'd say the whole meet, you want to keep out for lanes 4 and 5. The speed of the swimmers in the outer lanes is a little slower than ones in the middle.
And why do you think is that like because they're just catching the drag of all the other lanes, or how does that work?
I'd say just how the lineup works. Coaches normally put their fastest swimmers in the middle so they can it makes it a little bit more intense.
So we got
put some pressure on the swimmers while they're going.
So they're off and running. Brock Backman in lane 7 for Anoka. Kelvin Smith in lane 6 for Champlin Park. Abe Olson, as we mentioned, for Anoka in lane 5. Helmrich, the hot shot for Champlin Park in lane 4. Up the line, Tyler Kramer for Anoka in lane 3, and Landon Head is in lane 2. And early on, it's a nice lead for Helmrich in lane number 4 as he's able to quickly get to the wall, and we're into the breaststroke. A nice lead for Champlin Park, and that, man, he was underwater forever on that one.
That's a really great underwater pullout we saw right there.
But a big gap as they're closing it fast here.
Our best breaststroker in Anoka, Wesley Anderson, had a great turn right there.
Wesley Anderson has made up ground fast. There was a nice gap there for Champlin Park after the backstroke, and Anderson has almost made it up completely as we get to the turn. All right, this is the big one to watch. It's Woodward, or take that back, Henry Finke for Champlin Park and Levi Garberg in the butterfly, and they are off and running. Garberg trying to chase down Finke, but still a nice lead for Champlin Park by what, a couple of lengths?
I'd say about 5-ish yards or so.
5-yard lead perhaps. And here we go to the anchors. McCarty and Vincent Pham for Champlin Park as they anchor in the freestyle. Champlin Park has led throughout. They'll make the turn first. Can McCarty track down Champlin Park and Pham? Doesn't appear that he's going to, and Champlin Park's going to get to the wall. They will touch first McCarty touches the wall in second for Anoka. Nice, entertaining race from lanes 4 and 5.
Yes.
Boy, that was again, you talked about it in the JV race, though, Jessica. Getting out in that backstroke and getting ahead early, what a difference that makes.
Yes, it definitely does.
Sets the tone, and it's just so hard to make up ground. I mean, it looked like Garberg was going to do that. He got close, but what do you think? Is it the turn? Is it how quickly you can get to the wall? Like, how do you make up ground?
I would just say keep going, and I'd say, like, if you notice that you're losing ground to just focus on your own race. It can kind of get hard trying to touch out another swimmer, especially when they have such a advanced lead.
So we go to the 200-yard freestyle in the JV. There's 5 swimmers in the pool, and 4 of them are from Anoka. We're going to see young Kava Payer, Chase Robinson for Anoka, Case Miller for Champlin Park, 7th grader, Ben Taylor and Bo Leak for Anoka, the one Champlin Park swimmer in lane number 4. And they're off.
Lane 1, Kava 3, Chase 4, Case 9, Ben 7.
When you're a 7th grader racing in these kinds of events, I'm assuming you race forever. Thank you. When you race in these kind of races, like, I don't know, what are you trying to, are you, I guess, are there nerves? Do you worry about all the people watching you swim, or is that kind of exciting for you?
I would say, at least for me, I assume it's different for everyone, but when I'm racing, it's almost weird. It almost feels like you're in a different world when you're in the water. Kind of having your face down in the pool, it almost feels like there's no one watching at all.
So you don't even think about it?
No, I don't think about it at all. I try to focus on my own race, and it can be kind of hard, too, because you got to have a good breathing pattern, so trying to focus on that during your whole race, too.
See, that would be where I would probably lose out. It's like, there's all these people here. I got to remember to breathe and technique and all that stuff. Yes. A nice race being shown here by Case Miller for Champlin Park. He's out in front, but it's pretty tight here in the middle. Lane 3 is Robinson. Lane 5 is Taylor. They're both chasing him down, but not sure they're going to be able to catch him at this point because he's got a nice little lead. It all depends on this last turn. Or second to last turn, I should say. As it looks like Robinson's trying to make some ground up, but actually now it looks like it's going to be Taylor in lane 5, who seems like the closest bet.
Yeah, the 200 free is such a hard event because you think it's a distance event, so kind of like you want to pace yourself, but no, it's actually a full-out sprint. So you have to be sprinting the whole time to be able to get a good time in this race.
See, that's a great thought, right? Because some people, it's like, do you go hard right away, or do you try to conserve some energy? I mean, what is that strategy, and how do you do that?
Yeah, it can be pretty hard to find your own pace in this race just because you want to make sure that you're keeping up the whole entire time. But I'd say for most people, it's a full-out sprint the entire time. You want to be going as fast as you can without losing momentum in the end.
Were you like one of those that said, I got to go one speed the whole way? Or were you somebody that's like, let me conserve for the first 25 and then figure out my way after that?
I'd say when I swim the 200 free, I would just try to go as fast as I can the entire time. But I would say I also swim the 500 at some points, and that is more of a race where you got to pace yourself. And you know that a lot of these guys are going to swim multiple events tonight. Yes.
So it's about trying to find that line of conserving and then going hard at the same time. Nice race there for young Case Miller as he was able to comfortably get ahead and lead Champlin Park off to a nice start this evening in the JV and in the varsity. Well, next up, the 200 varsity comes to the forefront. We have Landon Head in lane 2. Richard Votek, the 11th grader for Anoka. Owen Mitchell, young 8th grader for Champlin Park. Caleb Erickson, Josh Mayer, and Ryan Madison for Anoka rounded out. Madison will be in lane 7, working back up 7, by the way, is closest to you on this screen if you're watching at home, and lane 2 is on the far side. Owen Mitchell, young 8th grader. No time, according to this, heading in, it doesn't appear. So, and everybody's swimming a little ill here, too. So we got some different folks doing different stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you and I don't even know much about coming into tonight, right? Which is okay, I suppose. Nice start in lane 5 for Caleb Erickson. Was able to get out of the gate fairly quickly and get a nice turn, and has opened up a little lead for the Tornadoes. Lane 3 also catching up a little bit. That's Votek. Fastest time in the pool this year so far has come from Caleb Erickson. And he is off to a very nice start. Couple yard lead on his teammate. And it was so young. I mean, 9th grade, 8th grade, and 7th grade in the pool for Champlin Park against some grown kids, 11th graders, 12th graders, and for this Anoka team. That's a big difference.
Yes, it is.
And it's showing long strides in the freestyle for Erickson. I think that's my big observation when you look at these swimmers from the younger ages versus the older, is just how effortless it sort of looks, how they're able to glide.
Yeah, definitely as they age up and get more into swimming and more practice, they definitely learn a lot more technique, especially you want to make sure that when you're swimming freestyle that you're reaching out as far as you can.
Everybody, when they think swimming, thinks freestyle. I would almost argue this is one of the harder ones, though, to me, because I feel like you have to have so much proper technique to go fast.
Yeah.
And speed is everything.
It can definitely be one of the strokes where when you get one of your fastest times really hard to drop, get improvement.
Erickson feels like he's just kind of gliding through here in lane 5. Doesn't feel like he's overexerting at all here, but he's opened up a very nice lead on his teammates and all the Champlin Park swimmers. He is out, again, 5-6 yards perhaps on his teammate. Definitely a full body length. And he will hit the wall and touch at 2 minutes. A 4-second victory over the second place finisher, which is Votek. But he ran under the fastest on the seed time. He was running at 2:05 coming in. He runs a nice 2:04 tonight.
Nice second drop.
And those are the little things you look for in these kind of swim meets, right? It's like not just did I win the duel or win the race, but did I improve my time?
Yes, definitely.
All right, we're going to do an IM here in the varsity. So 8 in the pool at once, including Jake Pullman, one of the captains, coming up for Champlin Park. Colin McCarty's going to be in lane 7. McCarty ran that anchor like a lot of these guys we just saw in the relay. Here they are again.
Yeah, the turnover can be really fast.
So what do you want to see here from like Wesley Anderson, Finke, all these guys in this race?
I'd say just see if they can get their best time, see if they can out-touch their rivals.
Do you expect, what do we start with in the IM? Do we start same way, backstroke, or what do we start?
In the IM, so in the individual medley, we start with fly.
We're going to start with fly.
Yep, we'll see fly, and then back, and then breast, and then freestyle at the end.
So this favors, what do you think this favors when you come out?
I'd say if you have a really good fly, you'll definitely be favored in this event.
Big start for both sides here. Champlin Park in lane 4. Running Henry Finke and Wesley Anderson again in lane 5 for Anoka. Once again, those two are off to very good starts, but a lead for Henry Finke, the sophomore.
Yeah.
He ran a really nice first race, too, in that medley.
Yes, he definitely did, and he has a great backstroke, as we'll see right now.
Yeah, he kind of has a little bounce to it. You kind of like that, huh?
Yeah, getting a good reach. Backstroke can be one of the strokes in this race where people tend to slow down and think, oh, because my face is in the water, I can go super slow. But I'd say if you have a good backstroke, it will make or break your race.
And I suppose all you're trying to do is focus on something above you in the ceiling, just to try to keep your mind at ease, I would guess.
Yeah, making sure that. Oh, and we just saw a bucket turn. How cool is that? A little bit different than normal.
You tell me how cool that is. I'm in on it. Boy, what a lead for Finke. He has been really impressive here as he has opened up on Wes Anderson and on
Wyatt Willers.
Yeah, on Wyatt Willers as well, the young 8th grader. And it's going to be hard to make up that gap. You have to be so good at all of these strokes. And so far, we're kind of not seeing a lot of mistakes here.
Yeah, I wouldn't see any.
Haven't found a weak link on this young sophomore for Champlin Park. And now into the freestyle.
Oh, breathing off the wall, not good.
Oh. Is that a sign of fatigue, or is that a sign of just needing?
I would say definitely by the end of this race. I know I've swum this race many times, and it's not a fun one.
This is where you're asking the coach, hey, can I get a couple off here before the next one?
Be like, don't put me until after diving.
And that might be the case. We'll see. Actually, yeah, it looks like that is the case, but we'll see. To the wall, touching up is Finke, and he ran I think, a very impressive 2:07. And he just kind of cruised at the end, it felt like, right?
Yeah.
Because I think these guys could all probably run a faster time if they needed to.
Probably.
Although Finke's that runs a 2:06, so he's a little slower than normal, but I think he knew he was on easy street there at the end.
He knew he had the lead and he was going to keep it.
And if you know you're going to swim more times, I guess you want to save where you can, right? So a nice race there, a full 9 seconds ahead of Anderson, who took second in that race. Wyatt Willers takes third in that race. Nice finish for Champlin Park. Really have gotten off to a nice start this evening. Next up, we get a fast race, the 50 free. We have just 4 swimmers in this in the JV, and again, all youngins. 9th grader for Anoka, Jordan Gillian, Elijah Olson. These are all for Anoka, looks like. Oh, we should have some Champlin swimmers somewhere. As I look at my list, trying to find my list. Oh, it's heat 1 and 2, it looks like.
Yes, it's a lot of swimmers in the JV 50 free, so we'll see a heat of all Anoka. Then right after, we'll see some competition again.
So Gillian, Olson, Wagner, and Subi, they will all jump in and race in this first heat. And then we'll see a second heat as well. Times are all that really matter here, though, right? We're just trying to make a good time?
I'd say so, yes.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Gilliam's out in lane 2. Olson's in lane 3. Wagner in lane 5. Cody Subi in lane 7.
I'd say, Anderson, the key to this race is definitely not to breathe. Breathing takes a lot of time. It might not seem like it, but every single time you take a breath, you're adding some time on the...
So did you just say not breathe?
Yeah, don't breathe. We during practices, a lot of the times they have them practice doing no breath 25. So all the way down the pool, no breath at all to prepare for these races. Yes.
Wow. So how many breaths do you think they'll take in the span of a race this fast?
I would say if we see a really good swimmer, they should not take more than 3 breaths the entire 50.
Wow.
One
That's
breath
incredible.
down, 2 breaths back.
Touch the wall at 33 seconds. Not too bad for Miles Wagner.
Yeah, best time right there by about 2 seconds.
That's pretty good. Got a nice start in the pool. You're right, not a lot of breathing, I guess.
Yeah, not a lot of breathing.
See, it seems to fly in the face of what I think you would want, right? Because isn't breathing kind of just a part? You need to keep air in you when you swim.
Yeah, but every single time you turn your head, you're adding some time onto that clock.
Really?
It slows you down.
That is fascinating stuff. That's so cool. I'm already learning a lot about swimming here, just hanging out. This is awesome. Next up, heat number 2. Out in lane 1 is TJ Morongo. We saw him earlier. Jabir Ali, who's new to swimming completely. Saw that when I talked to their coach earlier. He's in lane number 2. Mason Wagner in this one in lane 3 for Anoka. Jasper Brendel's one that you'll keep an eye on for Champlin Park. Joseph Paulson, keep an eye on him for Anoka in lane 5. Adam Whitehouse and Tyler Kramer round out this heat. And Anoka off to a good start. Paulson with the lead here as they get to the turn, get to the end. That was a pretty fast 27-second time right there. 27.31. That's ahead, a little bit ahead of his time.
Yeah, best time by about half a second.
Coming into this race, Paulson was running 27.83. So he's able to shave a little time there, not bad.
Yes, great race.
So I know you say don't breathe, but where else can you pick up time? Because we're talking about, that's a lot to knock off a half second.
Yeah, I would say definitely also having a super fast turn is great. You want to make sure that when you get into the wall that you're flipping over as fast as you can, pushing off about 3 dolphin kicks minimum underwater before you get into a nice breakout. Make sure you're not breathing off the breakout. That also adds a lot of time.
And you want to talk about fast. This one will go very quickly.
Yes, don't blink. You might miss it.
Yes, Landon Head is in lane 2 for Champlin Park. Abe Olson in lane 3 for Anoka. Vincent Famu is lightning in lane 4. Here's Dante Framke, the 8th grader for Anoka, in lane 5. We've been wanting to take a look at this young man, so this will be fun to watch. Matt Anderson, one of the captains, in lane 6, and Levi Garberg as well. This race is full of good swimmers. Let's take a look. Franke out to a fast start. Dante makes the turn, has the lead here, Jessica, hustling to the wall.
Yes.
This young 8th grader can fly. 22.47 into the wall, a second and a half faster than it looks like they gave that to Olsen, who took second in that one. Boy, he's quick.
Yes.
Oh, man. That was super fun to see. And, yeah, young 8th grader, and he's kind of been all over the place. He seems to be on every best timeline that we have. He's there.
Yeah. Number 1 on almost every single list.
Exciting to watch for sure. So next up, we're going to switch gears and do some diving, it does appear.
Yes.
So we're going to take a little pause here on QCTV while they get set up for diving, and we will come back with the diving portion of our swim and dive meet tonight.
Do we want to hear the live results so
Let's
far?
take the live results so far. What do we have?
So far we have Anoka with 37 points and Champlin Park with 25.
That's fantastic. 37-25, Anoka leads. It's been a very competitive start so far, just like we thought, Jessica. And we're going to see how we do after diving. This is going to be super fun. We'll be back in a little bit on QCTV.
Each store in downtown Anoka has their own unique niche to it.
Hi, I'm Gina Schupanitz, and we are at Favorite Things in downtown Anoka on Main Street. The business has been here for probably 10 or 12 years, and I just bought it 2 years ago. When I bought it 2 years ago, it was actually called the White Owl, and just this past spring or past February, I renamed the business to Favorite Things. So the business has been here a long time, and it's got a long standing in the community and just a lot of loyal customers to the store.
And those customers come back for a reason. The store is a treasure trove of delightful finds, from unique furniture to stylish women's apparel, sparkling jewelry to charming gifts. It has something for everyone.
Chains, which are super popular. People love them for their outdoor garden areas and their patios. They make wonderful gift items. And then, during the seasons, we change out the decor too. So every season we have new items. So in the fall, you'll see a lot of fall decor. And then, of course, during the holidays, this store becomes just a mecca of Christmas items. So I would say if you haven't shopped here, make sure you come back and check it out each season, because you definitely will see something new every time you come in.
Favorite Things is also participating in the Anoka Social District, so customers can enjoy their drinks, socialize with friends, and shop in the store.
The Anoka community is thriving. The Chamber of Commerce here and the Discover Anoka group do a fantastic job with helping to promote the downtown area and the small businesses. And almost every month of the year we have an event here in town which brings in a lot of customers and just brings in a lot of new people to the city, and it just helps the small businesses thrive. Yeah. I want people to come here and say, oh my God, I'm looking for this item and I want to give it to a friend of mine because it's an item that I love. So that's kind of what I try to specialize in.
So next time you're in Anoka, I definitely make a point to stop by and see what catches your eye at Favorite Things.
Champlin's Police and Fire Open House returns to the Champlin Public Works Building on Saturday, October 5th. Featuring demonstrations from the Anoka Champlin Fire Department, as well as the Champlin Police Department, this free event will take place from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Great for the entire family, this community event will feature emergency vehicles, canine units, drone demonstrations, and much more. For a full list of events, be sure to follow the City of Champlin on Facebook or Champlin's website. We'll see you at this year's Police and Fire Open House on October 5th.
So this is the third year that the course has been in the ground. This year will be the second year that we've done this form of the Wolf Moon doubles. It's a different type of doubles that I've heard about in different parts of the country, but it's fun because like you and I might play together for a few holes, and maybe I shoot really poorly, and then I get a partner with the next person in line. I shoot really well, and then you're kind of busting my chops about it a little bit. So it's just a different way of doing doubles, and just a fun time. So. Doubles events, I think, are the best intro into competitive golf events that you can have, because there's not as much pressure as there might be if you're playing an individual round. And it's just, like everybody's out here to have a good time. This will be the second year that we've done a different version of random doubles during the Winterfest Wolf Moon doubles event that will be held 2 weeks from today on January 16th. We're going to do a rotating doubles match where you'll start off by playing 5 holes with person, if you're person A, you'll play 5 holes with person B. Then the next 5 holes you'll play with person C. And then the next 5 holes you'll play with person D. And then the last 3 holes you play as a solo player. So you get a chance to play 5 holes with each of the other 3 people on your card. And then you have a chance to separate yourself if you're a solid player by scoring better, hopefully with your last 3 holes that you're playing as a solo round. Every day that I come out here, I'm surprised at how many people are out here, even if it's during the middle of the day. Christmas break or not, but the course is getting lots of visitors.
And welcome back on QCTV. Thanks everybody for joining us here tonight. We're at the Anoka Middle School pool, the Fred Moore pool as we like to affectionately call it. On to the diving portion of tonight's event. And we are going to see a Champlin Park diver here, it looks like. I want to say this is Colin Kane. We're going to find out in just a second. Tim Anderson back with you along with Emily McCall are going to join with a new analyst here. And there we go. First attempted dive right there. Not too bad. Emily joining us here. Thanks for joining us on this one. You're kind of a diver. You've been diving a long time.
I have, yeah. He had a great approach there, and, well, we love to see the height.
We like to see height here. So is that what we're going to be looking for?
Yep, we're looking for the height, the chin up in this. And
so you're going to guide us through this thing as we watch each diver. Next one up for Anoka. And these look like fairly early on, at least, we're starting with something fairly, I don't want to say easy, right? Because it's never easy. But we're not doing as many twists and turns and stuff in the early going here. We're just trying to execute some basic stuff.
Yep, all our divers are going to start off with a reverse dive tonight. And
Rhett, 301C, reverse dive tuck, 1.6.
This is Rhett Simonson, senior for Champlin Park.
great dive from him, a little over, but good height there. Good scores from our judges tonight.
Yep, 5s and 2 4.5s right there as you get a look at them right in front of us on our camera. Nicely done. Big, tall, strong kid for Champlin Park, the senior, able to get some big height here. And you're right. You seem like he bent back the other direction. And Colin, looks like Connor Barnes hits the pool that time, and this one looks a little tough right there. 3 and 2 as he fell the other direction.
Yeah, lacking a little bit of control there, but
when you get up in the air like that, I'm assuming you're just trying to find a spot where you can turn and have control of your body in that moment. That's out of my pay grade, as you can see. Here's Colin Kane for Champlin Park. The young freshman right there turns that over. I already see a couple of 5.5s and a 6. That's a very nice dive.
Very nice indeed. Good rotation. Stood it up vertically at the end there.
You say that scores like 6s and 5s at this level are pretty good.
Yeah, that's about a little above average there. So
not too bad then.
Not bad at all.
We'll take that. Leo Kenny with a nice twisty dive there.
Yeah, senior from Anoka. He squared it up pretty good. Good scores from our judges once again.
6.2 5.5s for Leo Kenny. Kenny the senior. Other than that, it's pretty young because we're back to the other senior, Rhett Simonson for Champlin Park, but then it's freshmen and 8th graders.
Yeah.
You can tell it's the 8th week of the season. A lot of tape.
Very impressive reverse 1.5.
6.5, 5.5, 5.5. I mean, very impressive indeed. This was probably like probably one of the cleanest looking dives I've seen so far. This was nice, Emily.
He has that control we're looking for. Good break in the water. Not a lot of splash.
It's always what I know about diving is we just don't want a lot of splash. Barnes jumps right in on his. Notice he kind of gets after it a little faster than the other divers. Divers seem to take their time. He's like jumping right into the pool.
Yeah, lots of adrenaline from him.
2.4 degree of difficulty coming here for young Colin Kane. Again, very deliberate as opposed to some of the other divers we've seen. What'd you see there?
The thing that stood out to me, he takes his time, and that does help him. It helps him slow down, gives him a little more of that control. But his entries do end up with the legs apart, little separated. Doesn't help with a clean entry there. But
does it matter that he's so far away from the diving board on the dive?
With the height that he has, it's not that big of an issue. If he didn't get the height that he did, we would see a...
And there's Kenny. Once again, Leo Kenny knocking down a nice one. 5.5 and 6. 2 nice dives in a row from Leo Kenny.
Oh yeah, he has that confidence we're looking for, precision.
Clearly the strongest diver for this Anoka team.
Oh yeah, yep. I believe this is his 5th or 6th year on the team.
Now Rhett Simonson will try to do the same thing here for Champlin Park. Was that about right, or was that about half turn short?
He was a little short, but I do feel like with the power he has, he would have gone over if he didn't cut it off short.
So he kind of had to make a call there in the air at that point.
Yep, yeah.
It's an interesting thing to think about when you're in midair like that. It's like, how am I going to land this thing, huh? Here's Barnes. Kind of an inward dive there, 3.5 and a 3. Barnes, just an 8th grader, so very young.
He has good form considering how young he is.
And you dove for a long time, so it takes a while to get where you want to go
It
here on
does,
this.
yeah. Very coachable athlete.
403C, inward 1.5 somersault up, 2.2 DD.
All right. Here's Colin Kane.
He did end up sinking into that one, but he had a good height. Very unconventional back approach there with the hands together, but he does make it work.
So something that was a little different than the normal form that you kind of see.
For sure,
A little
yep.
different. And he's certain nobody's waiting. Nobody's going to rush him too, by the way.
No.
He's going to take his time. Here's Leo Kenny once again.
Strong front double from him.
5s across the board for Leo Kenny.
Very standard traditional dive there when it comes to execution.
Inward 1.5 somersault.
Yeah, he's had a nice night. He's had 3 pretty solid dives in a row. And now his senior counterpart for Champlin Park, Rhett Simonson, once again. That dive always scares me a little bit when they jump forward like that, but that one seemed to come out okay.
Yeah, very safe distance from the board, good execution. He found his balance very well in his back approach.
There's another look at it right there. 5s and a 4.5 there for Rhett. Barnes, I think, wants to update his dive. And we're kind of feeling like we're golfers here. We got to get into the whisper mode because we're so close to the diving board.
Yeah,
so
we need to allow our divers for some concentration there.
this is not a time for us to work our comedy bits here, Emily. We'll work on that later.
All right.
Oh, all right. Connor Barnes back up.
Good call on switching that position there. He had better stand up with that dive.
Strongest dive of the night, too, because he's scoring in the 4.5s and 5s, and that's a change from what he was doing earlier on. So that's a nice one.
Seeing him get more confident on the board there as we continue throughout the night.
5132D, forward 1.5 somersault, 1 twist free, 2.2.
Here comes Colin Kane one more time, freshman. He seems like a great athlete. Like, he can get up in the air and do stuff. It's those landings that seem to be the challenge right now.
For sure, especially in a twister. You see a lot of difficulty when it comes to that, having to manage twisting and flipping. You really don't know where you are in the air in that aspect.
Yeah, you got almost like you got to pick a spot, right? Is
Yeah,
that kind of the
yep.
idea? Like, find a spot in the ceiling where
Yeah,
you're
you're
like,
always supposed to look at something.
That's a scary thought. Ooh, tough landing there for Leo Kenny.
Started off with a great approach, though, chin down where we want it when it comes to our backs. Just had to hold on a little longer, but
Was that just something where, like, he maybe missed where he was in the pool, or missed where he was when he was looking up? Because he got off to a great start on the dive, as you mentioned.
yes, got off to a great start. I think he just didn't know when to let go. Obviously, you have to know where you are in the air, and that's a difficult spot to be in. It was not a failed dive from Leo, though.
Yeah, low scoring dive, probably his lowest one of the night, for sure. But I mean, Rhett Simonson I worry he's going to hit the head on the ceiling. I mean, he gets some air on his.
Oh yeah, we're going to have to put him in a pool without a roof over us.
No kidding. 4.5s across the board on that, but it's just his ability to get off the board is really impressive. He's explosive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now Connor Barnes once again off his best dive.
Legal twister there from him. We did see him sit into that entry, but he did take his time more with this dive. Something different we've seen.
We've kind of noticed that a little bit the last couple of dives. I feel like he was a little bit more deliberate, trying to make sure that he had what he needed and then went. But the first few dives, he was just like, we'd barely got his name out. We don't have that issue with Colin Kane. It's a nice little dive right there. I like that one.
Yeah, great control. Scoring pretty high on this one. Makes up for that lack of a DD there.
Yeah, not the hardest dive in the world, I guess, but you still got to execute that, and that was a really nice one.
Yeah.
Beautiful dive there from young Colin Kane. Easily his best dive of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Now Leo Kenny. A little cleaner dive this time, 5.5s across the board for Leo Kenny.
He didn't let that mistake earlier carry with him.
He's just rock solid as a diver, it seems like. A lot of 5s, 5.5s. Does what he does it well.
Yeah.
Now Simonson. That was impressive.
Yeah. Very, very great turn. Got good rotation from him. He landed vertical. Something that every coach wants to see from their athlete.
6.5s and a 6 for Rhett Simonson. That was a really impressive diving section. I'm thankful for you, Emily, for showing up and helping me out, because you were able to help me out on a lot of things that I had not seen before, so that was pretty cool.
Diving's all in the details. It's why they both start with D. Dictionary set it up that way for a reason.
Is that how they did that?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yep. Gosh. See, they're so much better than I am at this stuff. We got to have the high schoolers just do all these events. We'll just all go home for the night. Malik and I will take off. High schoolers will finish it off. It'll be great. Now that'll wrap up the diving portion. We got more swimming to come in just a few minutes on QCTV. My thanks to Emily McCall for jumping in with us on the dive. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you to you and QCTV for having me here tonight.
Awesome. And Jessica Jensen will be back joining us for the rest of the swim meet, which is coming up in just a few minutes on QCTV.
So this is the third year that the course has been in the ground. This year will be the second year that we've done this form of the Wolf Moon doubles. It's a different type of doubles that I've heard about in different parts of the country, but it's fun because like you and I might play together for a few holes, and maybe I shoot really poorly, and then I get a partner with the next person in line. I shoot really well, and then you're kind of busting my chops about it a little bit. So it's just a different way of doing doubles, and just a fun time. So. Doubles events, I think, are the best intro into competitive golf events that you can have, because there's not as much pressure as there might be if you're playing an individual round. And it's just, like everybody's out here to have a good time. This will be the second year that we've done a different version of random doubles during the Winterfest Wolf Moon doubles event that will be held 2 weeks from today on January 16th. We're going to do a rotating doubles match where you'll start off by playing 5 holes with person, if you're person A, you'll play 5 holes with person B. Then the next 5 holes you'll play with person C. And then the next 5 holes you'll play with person D. And then the last 3 holes you play as a solo player. So you get a chance to play 5 holes with each of the other 3 people on your card. And then you have a chance to separate yourself if you're a solid player by scoring better, hopefully with your last 3 holes that you're playing as a solo round. Every day that I come out here, I'm surprised at how many people are out here, even if it's during the middle of the day, Christmas break or not. But the course is getting lots of visits. When places such as Greenhaven put up a winter disc golf course, everybody who may have hibernated for the winter wants to get a chance to come out and play a different track. So we get a lot of people that normally would have put their discs away for the winter coming out to play. Us being out here, their staff has shared, they've shared that they love us because we come in, we take care of their staff, we visit them, maybe have a drink, maybe have something to eat, even if it's just a snack or something. So it's helped out their business for the winter months too. We have a Facebook page set up with the city of Anoka. It's Disc Golf at the Cedars. So they can go on there, join the page. Every time that I have an event coming up, every time that I have a doubles event or a sanctioned tournament coming up, you can go on there and find out all the information about it. We also do a kids event towards the end of the season, which we always host on President's Day, which has typically been about the end of the season for the Cedars course. And for that kids event, we charge just a very small fee, have the kids come out and play some disc golf, learn how to play disc golf. If they're experienced players, they get a chance to maybe go off on their own. We've got some sanctioned events, some more competitive events, and then we do some family-friendly stuff right around President's Day as well.
The Champlin Police Department plays a huge role in the city of Champlin. From keeping our streets safe to hosting community events, we sure love our police here in Champlin.
Yeah, I did grow up in Champlin. I've lived here since I was 3 years old. Parents used to live off of French Lake Road, and then we moved where we're currently, my dad still lives in town. Grew up here, went to all the schools here, went to back when Champlin Elementary was still an elementary school. Went there for a couple years. Then when Oxbow first opened up, went to Oxbow for my elementary years, went to Jackson, went to Champlin Park. So I'm a hometown kid, and I'm really excited to come back here.
Today I was lucky to sit down with Officer Anthony Mortensen at Willie McCoy's.
That sounds interesting.
We both are getting burgers. I'm getting the jalapeno cream cheeseburger, a favorite of mine, and Anthony is ordering the firecracker burger.
All right, I'm here with Officer Mortensen of the Champlin Police Department. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Glad you can join me for lunch here at Willie McCoy's.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we got a beautiful day out here on the patio.
It's gorgeous out, I can't complain.
I think Minnesota summers are here.
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind the warmth.
Yeah. What is your role at the Champlin Police Department? How long have you been with Champlin?
So I've been with Champlin for about 1.5 years now, getting close to 2 at the end of the year. But before that, I was as an officer in the city of Osseo for 16 years. So I've been doing this for a little bit of time. Other than that, my primary role is right now I'm currently assigned to the patrol division and just working day shift.
All right, so it's my understanding this fall you got a big, new, exciting position you'll be starting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
New position. Give me the new school liaison or school resource officer over at Jackson Middle School. Looking forward to it. Nice to do a little bit of a change. Being a cop for 16 years in Osseo, I was just pushing a car around. There wasn't much advancement, so being able to do something different is exciting for me. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
All right, well, that's exciting news and an exciting new position for you, and great for our community and the Jackson community and our elementary schools over there to have you in our schools. I have a daughter in 7th grade this year at Jackson, so
Keep
I'm
an
sure.
eye out for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know as mayor, and I know our community and my colleagues on the council are so thankful for everything the Champlin Police does for our community. You guys do an absolutely excellent job keeping our community safe. One thing I really love is your community engagement that you guys do. So on behalf of the entire city of Champlin, I just want to thank you guys and everything you do, the Champlin Police Department, for keeping this community such a great community to have a family and to raise kids and to work or play or whatever folks are doing here. You guys do an excellent job, and we're real appreciative of you guys. And as mayor, 100% I support you guys. And
We appreciate
everything
that.
you do.
It's always nice to hear. So thank you very much.
And thank you to Willie McCoy's for hosting today's lunch. They are a great lunch and dinner spot every day of the week. Summer is here and the patio is open, so stop by Willie McCoy's today.
So my name's Krista Gordhammer. This is the Artery Studio where you can come take stained glass classes start to finish, or even pick up projects that are cut for you and you can finish here. I also have mosaic classes and a friend who's teaching glass fusing classes.
You might have heard of the Artery Studio before when it was in Ramsey, but owner Krista decided to move locations to Anoka because she grew up in the area.
I used to be an art teacher, and during COVID it just stopped being fun. And I was telling my parents about how unhappy I was with my dream job not working out to be so fantastic. My dad told me I should come to this old office building where he used to have a space, and I should open up my own studio to teach classes there, so that's where the Artery was born. I get to do whatever I want every single day. I can't wait to get here every day and just get working on glass. The next thing we are doing is wrapping all of our pieces with copper foil tape, and most of us have opaque dark glass. So today I have a group making their own sun catchers. They got to design their projects, choose all their glass, cut the glass, grind the glass, and right now they're foiling, and in a few minutes we'll be soldering.
From beginner or experienced, the Artery Studio is a great spot to be.
Yeah, I try to make the process as easy as possible, which is kind of why most weeknights I'll have it cut out ahead of time, because cutting is really the hardest part. You'll end up breaking a lot of glass and getting frustrated and just throw your hands up and say, this is not for me. But I think today I had a little bit of practice glass cutting for people. They really got their feet wet with it and took off with it.
And every artist has a favorite piece they've made.
It's the rainbow quilt block in the corner. Yeah. I love color theory, so I have it all organized in the color wheel around a set of bevels that cast more color into the room.
So make sure you check out the Artery Studio in Anoka and make a memorable piece of art to brighten your day.
The United for Community event has been going on for over 10 years. This signature event, our backpack giveaway and back to school night, is really for everyone, and it's most especially for those who are getting ready to go back to school in the fall. And some of the kids that are living in this community and don't have all the help or supplies they need, we give them a little extra boost as well. We give people a chance to register for a free backpack and school supplies the month or two ahead of this event. But all are welcome to come. We've got kids and families coming in. We work with community partners to celebrate all the things that we're doing in the community, and also to connect people to services that might be helpful or useful for them throughout the school year. The Anoka County Library is here, the ACBC Food Shelf, and all kinds of other resources, including some of the other United for Community events we have happening throughout the year here at the church. The United for Community has been a concept or an idea that has been happening here at the United Methodist Church of Anoka for over 10 years. We are all about connecting in the community and with the community and with our partners. It used to be this back to school event. This was our United for the Community event. It is now a series of events throughout the year. We have a trunk or treat coming up next at the end of October, October 27th. We have a live nativity coming up after that in December. We have an egg extravaganza happening in the spring toward Easter. We have a huge egg hunt and lots of activities and games and food during that event. And then in the spring and summer, we have events for kids and families like our Vacation Bible School and other things that people can enjoy together, both outside and inside the building.
And
The best way to get involved is to call the church office, 763-421-2378, or to go to the website at anokaumc.org. So that's anokaumc, like United Methodist Church.org. You can find out information throughout the year by giving a call or watching that website. We also have a Facebook.
And we're back in the Fred Moore pool. Tim Anderson, Jessica Jensen returning here.
Yes, happy to be back.
Thank you to Emily McCollar for helping me through the diving and keeping me quiet, because I would have talked right through that whole thing. I got to be honest with you. But now we're back to swimming. We're going to start with the 100-yard butterfly. We got seven guys here. Again, another mix of young and old. But again, Henry Finke seems to be the fastest guy in the pool for Champlin Park. He's ran 2 pretty good races tonight in the relay, but also in his first race. He's been one of the leading contributors on the swim side for Champlin Park. Score so far, Jessica, 42-35 Anoka leads.
Yes.
Finke's going to be in lane 4 for this race. Levi Garberg is the one to watch in lane 5 for Anoka. So they have the long mid-race warm-up, mid-meet warm-up.
Mid-meet warm-up.
Everybody's got to feel pretty limber right now, I would have to assume. I don't know how much warming up you need in here. Do you need a lot of warm-up?
I'd say if you haven't swum, I'd say not swimming before diving and then that whole diving break the swimmers have.
I guess you could cramp up. I suppose you got to get back out and limber up a little bit.
Got to warm up, make sure no injuries.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
we had a
false start.
Got a false start there, and that was on Brock Backman on the far side in lane 1. So Brock Backman leaned in a little too quickly. Nathan Rohde, the freshman for Champlin Park's in lane 2. Colin McCarty in lane 3 for Anoka. Finke in lane 4 for Champlin Park. Garberg in 5 for Anoka. Sam Mayer for Champlin Park, and Emmerich Lee.
Got to reset the scoreboard, as that can happen with a false start.
Is that just a lean a little bit too? I mean, are you anticipating? Is that what you're trying to do there?
Yeah, you want to try to. It's a really hard science to master. You don't want to go before the buzzer, or else you'll get DQ'd. But you don't want to. You don't want to be the last one off the blocks and already have the disadvantage.
So trying to kind of figure that out is sort of tough.
Yeah. Kind of the big tip is pulling up on the block instead of jumping out right away. Pulling.
It's a lesson there for young Brock Backman, the freshman. All right, we're going to get him set back up on the block, and here we go. Emmerich Lee sits in lane 7, young 8th grader for Anoka. A lot of really strong young folks for both teams, really, Jessica. Very impressive. Up, they're going to reset the timer. Again, we're right back to having timer issues here.
Oh.
Gotta love it.
Oh, yeah, love it. Love when you're right behind the block, ready for a race, all the anxiety of getting ready, and then they're like, oh, hold.
So we'll get him back on the block. We'll try this again. At some point, we will have this race. We promise you here on QC.
And it will be a great watch. 100 fly, really great race to watch.
100 fly, again, keep your eye. Garberg looked like he got a nice start there in lane 5 for Anoka. Finke and Garberg. Now quickly, Finke pulls ahead of Garberg as they pull away from the rest of the field here. Another nice turn.
Yeah, Finke with a seed time of under a minute, so really fast there.
And he is off and running here. To the wall, and he'll make the turn. Good split there, 25 seconds.
Yeah, great underwater, probably about 6 dolphin kicks right there.
Yeah, you don't see him come up till over halfway down the lane. Maybe not quite half, but it's a long time underwater.
Yeah, definitely a third.
And he's pulled ahead here again of Garberg. And I'll tell you what, he has been really impressive tonight to watch. 54.76. Good enough for almost a 4 full second win over Levi Garberg. Very cool. But you got to like that under a minute time for Levi.
Yeah, under a minute time, really great. About a 2-second drop right there for Levi, and Finke about half a second.
Levi pretty jazzed about that, as you can see in the pool. I think he was pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, definitely been working towards under that minute break.
So that's a cool reaction too, because I mean, obviously you're trying to win, but man, those PRs are fun to get.
Oh yeah, definitely fun. He's super excited.
It's almost like he won. It's a separate win within a win here almost.
Yeah.
So a nice run for both of them. Good swim for Finke, who's really swam brilliantly tonight for Champlin Park. And Garberg puts up one of his best times right there at 58.56. All right, we move ahead to the 100-yard freestyle JV. Only 3 in the pool this time for the Tornado, or for all 3 for Anoka, it looks like.
Yeah, first heat, all Anoka. Second heat, we'll see
Everybody's
some more
in.
competition. Yeah.
So Miles Wagner, 7th grader. Kaiva Payur, we saw him earlier, 8th grader, and then Jordan Gillian, who's the 9th grader. The future of Anoka swimming right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things about swimming that you have to get used to is like how much younger some of these varsity swimmers are compared to other sports.
Yeah.
A 7th grader can't crack a lineup in a lot of sports.
Yeah, I'd say definitely not.
So what narrows the gap in swimming, do you think? Like what is it that makes a 7th grader or an 8th grader able to compete with a senior?
I would say definitely if the 7th or 8th grader swam club. I would say a lot of really good underclassmen swimmers. They all were doing club off season, coming to the season already ready to race.
So you kind of pick up the pool at a young age,
yeah,
and you just sort of stay in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you make up ground quickly on some of those folks who are maybe later to the party.
Yeah.
And when did you first start swimming?
I first started swimming, like learning how to swim, probably like 6, but I started swimming competitively when I was 8.
8?
Yeah.
So wow, you really got to start. That's 2nd grade, right? First, 2nd
Yeah.
grade? Wow. 3rd grade? No, 3rd. For you, it'd probably 5th grade because you're pretty smart like that. 8th grade, 8-year-olds.
I don't know about that.
They didn't let me into. I don't think
they
let
wouldn't let me in.
I didn't get out of kindergarten until I was 7. I don't think so. I think that was me. I don't know. Hard to tell anymore. Good swim here for these 2 young Anoka kids. Getting to the line first was actually was a Payur, looks like, who got there first.
Yep.
8th grade, who's able to touch the wall, and again at a nice time, 1:13, a new high for that one, for that young man, and a nice time as well for Miles Wagner, who coming in a seed time of 1:25 runs at 1:14.
Yeah, 9-second drop, really great race right there.
Very impressive.
Definitely shows he's been working hard in the pool.
So there's that one. That heat is done. Now heat 2 sees some of the usual suspects that we've seen in some of these JV races, as Adam Whitehouse is on for Champlin Park on lane 2. Chase Robinson, Jamison Stover, Tyler Kramer in lane 5 for Anoka, Jabir Ali in lane 6, Tristan Holmes in lane 7, Leo Unverzeg in lane 8. And we're off and running in this JV heat. Heat number 2, full pool. Good start on the outside lane, actually. Lane 2. Strong beginning for Adam Whitehouse. Gap being closed a little bit as it's Kramer, but also coming in number 4, Jamison Stover. So 2 Champlin Park Rebels and then Tyler Kramer. And Kramer looks like he has overtaken Stover, or pretty close to it anyway, here for 2nd place. And these points are critical to get in a very tight heat after that last race, 49-44.
If you look all the way over in lane 2, looks like they're pulled ahead.
Big lead for Whitehouse. But Kramer has caught up to 2nd, and it looks like he'll touch the wall. So 104.42 for young Adam Whitehouse, but a nice run for Tyler Kramer as well, 105.62 in the pool. A little bit above the time that he had coming in, but not a bad swim at all.
No, not a bad swim at all.
To the varsity of the 100-yard freestyle. Get to see Dante Franke again. Get to see Vincent Pham. Mason Wagner's going to be in lane 1. Calvin Smith in lane 2. Richard Votek in lane 3. Kipton Helmrich in lane 6. Keep your eye on him. Ryan Madison and Matthew Anderson, one of the captains. As we finish up with Jabir Ali, who once again, good for him. This young man in his first swimming experience ever this year. No swimming experience coming in, and that's what's fun about this. You have those club swimmers, Jessica, but then you get swimmers like this. And it's cool to watch the teams really root for those swimmers, too, as they grow. That's fun to see.
Yes, it's really fun to hear all the commotion in the pool get louder as someone gets closer to beating their final time or just getting to the wall.
A lot of team camaraderie with these teams, the girls' team especially, too, and the guys as well. They really are a tight-knit group. All right, here we go. I expect this to be a very fun and fast race. We're at the 100-yard freestyle. This is event 14, so not the 500 free. This is the 100 free. And they're off and running. Framke looks like he's out front early, but it's pretty tight as they make that turn, but maybe not. No, Framke comes up ahead. Dante being pursued by Helmrich, and now it's a two-horse race. Helmrich looks like he's closing the gap on the young 8th grader. Kipton Helmrich trying to catch this young 8th grader for the Tornadoes. Dante Framke still leads. Kipton Helmrich charging behind him. But Framke looked like he might have pulled ahead on that last turn, Jessica. To the wall. He's got it. A sub-50 time. Just edging Kipton Helmrich to the wall. Fun race for the 8th grader.
Really great race right there.
He came in running swimming a 48.92, so a little bit over that, but not by much. That was a fun, competitive swim to see those two next to each other like that.
Event number 15.
Great swim. Now 500-yard freestyle. Camp out for a little while. You got time. It's a 6-minute race here.
Definitely a long race.
In Heat 1, Bo Leek and Ben Taylor for Anoka will be the only ones who will go. So this might be a... you'll get time to get a drink here and come back to the couch and still catch a lot of this race.
Yes.
And they're off. This is, again, JV, so this is 2 heats. Now, this is different.
Yeah,
we've been doing a lot of sprint stuff. What's the strategy here versus a sprint race?
I would say a lot of it's mental. With this race, you get to about the 400 mark, and that last 100 can feel longer than the first 400 yards. But I would say you really got to pace yourself, making sure you have a good breathing pattern. About every 3 is about average, or every other sometimes when you get a little out of breath.
So you say don't breathe in the sprint races.
Don't breathe in the sprint. You want to breathe in the 500.
Everything's about breathing here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can see that they have some spotters in the pool on the other end who are just kind of showing them I'm assuming what lap they're in here.
What lap they're on, yeah.
Because you can forget that, I guess, huh? You're not even thinking about that. You're just swimming.
Yeah, you're just swimming. Sometimes I feel like they need a lap counter for the 200. But
maybe you should talk to somebody down there about that. Yeah, get somebody on that. Nice race so far for Taylor. Ben Taylor in lane 5, Bo Leek in lane 3. Again, he had a time of 6 minutes coming in, and he's on lap 5. So how many total laps are we doing here exactly?
20.
20 laps.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody's waiting with some Gatorade for these guys when this is done. So 20 lengths of the pool.
Yes.
At some point, you almost have to feel like it's like a recreational swim, right? You almost have to treat it as such.
Yeah, treat it like a warm-up.
Taylor just out front, cruising along here. Clearly not interested in trying to, it's not about winning a heat here. This is all about PR.
Yeah,
all
best
about
time.
getting your stroke down.
Mm-hmm. What's really cool about this race that's similar to sprint races is flip turns matter a lot. So we have, on the girls team, we have Coach Caleb, and he always says that walls win races, which can kind of be a tongue twister in itself, but you want to make sure that when you're going into every single wall that you're having a quick turn, because that can add lots of time at the end if you go in slow.
Walls win races. I like that. Could get that on a shirt.
Oh, it was on our section shirt 2 years ago.
This is one of the events, I think, at the Olympics or something near that where we watch somebody like Katie Ledecky or who just get out and just run away from fields because they were so good at just kind of pacing themselves, and the stamina just kept them going, where they would get out to huge leads. That's what can happen in a race like this. And everybody loves Katie Ledecky in the truck at QCTV.
Oh,
Back in
yes.
our studios, Mark directing this thing is just... Hey, we had an over-under at 3.5 Katie Ledecky references we could get in the broadcast. We got 1, so we got to work 2.5 more in here before the night's out. About halfway home here, getting close to that.
Halfway right now for swimmer in lane 5.
This is where, like, we should send Malik, our cameraman, out to get us a water and maybe a hot dog or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of while we're in the middle of this somewhere. You can go run camera while he does that, right? Like, he'll cover for us.
Yeah.
You got it.
I'll get all the good angles.
That'll be great. See, that'll be perfect. The 500 free continues. We'll obviously have another heat of this. Actually, no, it's the only heat we have, because we'll have the boys varsity after this. Boys varsity in this 500 yard. And that is seeing Caleb Erickson again. We're going to see Wyatt Willers for Anoka. We're going to see Josh Mayer. A lot of young guys doing that 500. Oldest one in that field is a sophomore. I would think an event like this would be like if you had sickness happening throughout the week, like Anoka's kind of dealt with some injuries, dealt with illness. It's these events that would be the hardest to kind of get going and fill up for.
Yeah, these are definitely the events where when the coach is like, oh, is anyone able to swim the 500? We need someone to fill in. No one's hand goes up.
Is that kind of like in class when a teacher asks a question and nobody raises their hand?
Yeah.
Finally, the coach just has to call on somebody. It's like, why don't you answer it in the back?
I know I was, when I joined swim team very first year, 7th and 8th grade, I only swam the 500. I was one of the top 500 swimmers, but then they had a lot of girls graduate and they needed someone to fill in for breaststroke, and so I got to get out of this race. Very thankful for that.
So it's a race you graduate out of, is what you're saying?
Yeah, sometimes.
You get promoted out of the 500 yard. That's an interesting way to look at it. And you can see those arms look a little heavy on Ben Taylor as he's making his way. That stroke is looking a little bit heavy to lift those arms at this stage.
Yeah, coming into the final 100 for Ben. What's really fun about this race, you can see the official grabbing the bell, but if you're first coming into the wall, at the end you get to have a cowbell rung for you. Just as a little momentum to get you through the last 50.
We'll take it. Whatever it takes at this point.
Yeah.
So 2 more lengths coming up for Taylor.
There's the bell.
And it's music to the ears of Ben Taylor, I would have to think.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Anoka boys really cheering on these 2 swimmers.
See Wesley over there with the card shaking it really hard.
Final length for Taylor. Couple more for Leak that he'll still have to go, the young 8th grader.
Looks like Ben's gonna get a best time here by about
13 seconds.
Yeah. What a great race right there. He'll be very happy to see that.
13 seconds feels like just a ton. How does that happen?
I mean, when you're swimming a long race like the 500, if you can just drop about like half a second every 50, it adds up.
That's true. Yeah, I guess you don't. We're not looking for a ton here every lap, right?
Yeah.
All right, Leak making his way.
Looks like he came into this race with no time, so.
So this is a good. You got to establish something.
Yeah.
So this will do that.
Great benchmark right there. Just under 7.5 minutes.
That would be where I can't feel my arms. Somebody get me out of the pool.
But if you think about it, during practices, they probably swim like 8 times this amount. So
that's probably true.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to do this for the varsity. So, again, sit tight, although this will go a little quicker because these guys are all running in the mid-5s.
Mm-hmm.
Except for a couple guys. Josh Mayer doesn't have a time, and Avery Tran doesn't have a time. Tran's in lane 2 for Champlin Park up at the top of your screen. Josh Mayer's in lane 4 in the middle of your screen. Both from Champlin Park, both 7th graders. So they have no times coming in. The Anoka times are all around 5:35 or a little bit more than that. Leading the way is Caleb Erickson in lane 5. And Erickson off to a nice start. All the swimmers haven't really stretched out just so much yet, taking their time here. As 3 and 5, as it's Wyatt Willers and Caleb Erickson leading the way for the Tornadoes. The meet is getting tighter after that last varsity race. 59-50 coming in to this race. Anoka going to be looking to try to stretch the lead here if they can. This is where consistency wins, right? Not just winning these races, but getting guys in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place.
Mm-hmm.
So now it looks like Willers has grabbed a little bit of a lead here as about maybe entering a quarter of the way through this one.
For some of the spectators and other swimmers, they may think that this is a long time just swimming 2 events. But if you ever go to an invitational, sometimes they'll have 6, 7, 8 heats of the 500.
Oh man!
It'll take like 40 minutes just to get through.
Well, that's when I would send Malik for the hot dog at that point. You have to go out and do that. Really good turn there from Erickson, as it looked like he was able to retake the lead from Willers. I'm assuming that some are better closers in this race and some are better starters.
Yeah.
It's all kind of about your philosophy, I would guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say a lot of the time it's like the last 100 that a lot of people kick it down. They're like, I got to get to the wall first.
So that's when you see like these front 3 swimmers have really kind of pulled away here.
Mm-hmm.
Willers leads. Erickson right there. Champlin Park's nearest competitor is Josh Mayer, the young 7th grader, who's actually swimming a pretty good race here with some of these more experienced swimmers like Erickson, a sophomore.
Yeah.
Pushing hard on lap 9. Getting to the halfway point of this race. And I would say they're moving at a nice pace here.
Yeah, great pace.
Willers has kind of stepped out early in this one. You get the feel that this might be like a Wyatt Willers comfort zone because he seems to be at ease here in the pool.
Yes.
In this with the distance. Nice turn though from Erickson on this length because he looks like he has caught Willers. Still basically a 3-horse race, 2 of them being Anoka folks. In lanes 3 and 5, Willers leads. Erickson in 2nd. Mayer in 3rd. Willers in lane 3. Mayer in lane 4. Lane 5. The closest to us right there is Erickson.
It'll be really fun to see this last half as they all start to kick it down knowing they got to get to the wall first.
Yeah, when is like a good time to go? Like if you're Josh Mayer sitting in 3rd, when do you start to say, okay, I'm down, a half body length to Wyatt Willers. When do I start going?
I would say at about when you have the last about 150 left of the race, you want to start kicking it down.
So that's where you're paying attention to those those markers, to those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Erickson again seems to make up ground on this turn, and then Willers sort of finds a way to pull away again.
Mm-hmm. Erickson's got some really great turns.
Willers seems like, he's able to stretch out in the length of the pool, but then at the turn, Erickson seems to make up a ton of ground.
And right about now, they're starting to kick it down, realizing they gotta push it to the very end.
Definitely feel like the tempo is picked up here a little bit in these last handful. Crowd getting loud here. Teams getting loud as they cheer for their guys. Willer still leads. They've kind of lapped there in lane 2. They've lapped Avery Tran. So it is just a 3-horse race. Willers, Erickson, and Mayer. But Willers has pulled ahead of Mayer here a bit, and now kind of starting to stretch out a little on Caleb Erickson as well. Willers makes the turn.
Last length, it's going to be close.
See who finds a gear. Willers has led throughout, and it looks like he'll lead all the way to the line. Close finish, but just enough for Wyatt Willers. Erickson second, Mayer third, a time of 5:34.81 for Wyatt Willers, which is
a 5-second drop right there.
Fantastic. Really a good race by a lot of these guys. Erickson ran right about at his time, ran just a little under.
Yeah.
Mitchell ran a little overtime. Mayer needed a time, so that's a benchmark for him. Sets at 5:35.8. All in all, a very good race.
Yeah. Sheldon Smith dropping almost 20 seconds there, so really great race for him. Or Josh Mayer, sorry.
Josh, yeah. Very impressive.
They didn't update my sheet.
They didn't update your sheet as much as mine, huh?
No.
But that's why I said we got it, though. You know what? We're good.
Yes.
You can have my sheet at some point as well if you want. Anoka's going to pull ahead here a little bit, though, because they're going to take first and second in this race.
Yeah. I'll give them an extra 10 points.
All right, we're going to do a relay now again in the JV, 200-yard freestyle. 2 swimming teams right now, once again. The same ones we saw earlier, just in a different order. Colin Kane, Jasper Brendel, Case Miller, and Jabir Ali for Champlin Park. It'll be TJ Moronga, Miles Wagner, Ben Taylor, and Bo Leek. So they just ran the 5. Get back in the pool and run these relays.
Yeah, never fun when the coach does that to you.
But at least they get to wait a couple of minutes before they get in, right?
Maybe like 2.5 if they're lucky.
Kind of that's where you start asking, like, what did I do to you?
Yeah.
Like, what is, do you?
Did I not listen enough in practice? What are you trying to tell me?
Should I carry the water next time?
Yeah.
Bring the towels. Good start once again. Champlin Park's done quite well in these relays, even the JV and in the varsity side.
Yes.
Off to a good start here as Brendel gets this one. Brendel and Wagner swimming, 7th grader and a 9th grader. 7th grader for Anoka, that's Miles Wagner. 9th grader is Brendel.
We have the updated score after the 500. Anoka has a great lead with 71 points to Champlin Park 54.
So that was a big race for the Anoka Tornadoes, because it looked like Champlin was maybe starting to close that gap a little bit.
Especially after diving, that sweep and diving.
Next up, we'll see the varsity version of this. Good chance if you're Champlin Park, you want to try to get that back if you can.
Yeah.
Should be fun because we saw a lot of those speedy racers back out there again in the pool in this next one. Champlin Park is stretched out, nice lead here.
Champlin Park definitely has a lot of good sprinters, so it'll be fun to watch this varsity event next.
Ali into the pool. He'll be the anchor for Champlin Park. Leak into the pool. The anchor for Anoka. And immediately making up time. Leak makes up time and pulls ahead here in this JV. Turns the corner, and it looks like it'll be a nice finish for Anoka. Who cares? 500 yards. You can do it again. Jump right back in the pool, young man. You can do it.
Victory lap.
Yes, exactly. Bo Leak, who just swam for 7 straight minutes, gets 5 minutes off, and he's back in the pool again. Nice job, young man. Well done. Jabir Ali will swim to the line for Champlin Park. Nice win for Anoka there in this JV relay. Now the varsity relay coming up, and this should be a great deal of fun to watch here. Adam Whitehouse in lane 1 with Avery Tran, Jake Pullman, and Jamison Stover. Richard Votek, Joseph Paulson, Ryan Madison, Dante Framke in lane 3 for Anoka. Woodward, Landon Head, Nathan Rohde, Matthew Anderson for Champlin Park in lane 4. Abe Olson, Colin McCarty, Levi Garber, and Caleb Erickson in lane 5. Josh Mayer, who we just saw, will lead off here in lane 6 for Champlin Park. Noah Olson will start things in lane 7 for Anoka. Again, keep your eye on lane probably 3, 4, 5 in this race.
Yes.
So leading it off, Whitehouse in lane 2, Votek in lane 3, Woodward for Champlin Park in 4, Abe Olson in lane 5, Josh Mayer in lane 6. And quickly setting the pace is lanes 2, 3, and 4 as we said.
I know Richard is a foreign exchange student from the Czech Republic, and he swam there, and he came over to help us win. So.
Hey, take it wherever you can get it right there. Great swim there by Votek. He has the lead. Joseph Paulson now into the pool. Also into the pool is McCarty. McCarty with the lead at the turn for Anoka in lane 5. Starting to pull ahead a bit. Ryan Madison waits in lane 3 for Anoka. Lane 5 is Garber. He takes off. Garber stretches it out. A nice swim here in lane 5 for this veteran Tornado team. All pretty much 2 seniors there with Garberg and Olson, and then a junior and a sophomore leading for anchor Caleb Erickson, who waits and goes. Against Dante Framke, who's going to try to catch him.
Yeah, Caleb just coming off swimming the 500.
Yeah. And by the way, the young 8th grader is going to come after you in the last leg of this lane, so swim hard. But it looks like Erickson's got enough of a lead where he's going to hang on, although Dante's trying hard to close the gap for Anoka. Erickson will touch first. Followed by Framke and Anoka, they go 1-2, 137.54. A nice swim there for Anoka as once again they take 1-2. 137, a nice time for them. Didn't have a time registered coming in. Interesting though, because that Champlin Park group has a time of 134. Tonight ran 145.
Maybe someone got sick last minute. They had to put someone else in.
A little
that
stamina,
can happen.
yeah, maybe a little something there. It's very interesting to see that big a change. One thing to see the drop the other way, but it's another thing to see it go back up. All right, little backstroke time. 100-yard backstroke. You a big fan? You a backstroke person in these things? Is that your stroke of choice?
No. Probably my least favorite stroke besides butterfly.
And how do you figure that out? How do you know, like, is that just something that you figure out pretty quickly? You're like, that's not for me.
Yeah, pretty quickly. They'd put me in the 200 IM line. I'd be like swimming every 50 different stroke. I'd be like, yep, this is probably my least favorite one.
Off and running in this one. Just a short race here, just the 2 swimmers. They had 3 listed at this one, but it's just going to be the Anoka swimmers swimming this one for a time. Subi and Elijah Olson in lane 3 and 5. Case Miller was supposed to swim in this one, but is not going to. Just a smooth little gloss. Yeah, I don't mind this stroke because it feels like it would take the least amount of effort. Am I wrong? I'm wrong on this, though.
I'd say I feel like they all take a lot of effort. I'm not really sure. I'm not the best backstroker, so I'd say it's definitely a harder stroke with flip turns, especially just because you gotta time your strokes to the wall.
Yeah, we just got the update on the updated score there, Jessica. Tell us there, Anoka pulled out with a big lead now.
Yeah, Anoka 83 to Champlin Park 56.
Those 1-2 finishes add up after a while.
Oh yeah, they definitely do. Especially with relays, going 1-2 in a relay helps a lot.
A couple of good swims here for the Tornadoes in the varsity here on this second half. This was pretty tight when we got out of diving, but this second half has gone the way of Anoka in more races than not.
Yes.
Good swim here for Elijah Olson as he has stretched out a nice lead. Will come to the wall, and if he can get there, he'll get under his time, and he does. 137.49. Subi does not have a time, so he needs to get this one in so he can get one. It's important to get that benchmark too, I would bet, huh, Jessica? You got to try to, you want to try to get something on the board so that you have something to measure.
Exactly. Plus, it's always fun to swim a race you never swam before because you never know. You could be a pro.
Event number 20, 100-yard backstroke varsity.
All right, we're going to do the varsity now in this one. Sam Mayer, he's going to be in lane 2 for Champlin Park. Tristan Holmes in lane 3 for Anoka. Kipton Helmrich, lane 4 for Champlin Park. Abe Olson, Calvin Smith, and Brock Backman. Again, last year, Kipton Helmrich was a state qualifier. He holds some records already.
Mm-hmm.
He'll jump in the pool for the 100-yard backstroke. Helmrich will be in lane 4, Olson in lane 5. And Helmrich's personal best time, seed time coming in, is 8 seconds faster than everybody else.
Yeah, this will be crazy to watch.
Lane 2, Sam. 3, Tristan. 4, Kipton.
Helmrich just was underwater the whole time.
Yeah.
I was worried he didn't. I was like, is something wrong there? No, he was underwater the whole time. What an amazing start.
Yes.
Wow.
I'd say if he went any farther, he wouldn't have.
There's no point even swimming at that
point.
Wow. Kipton Helmrich has exploded in this backstroke, and he is well in front of Abe Olson.
Yeah, almost half a pool length.
It's a tight race for second right now between Olson and Smith. Smith for Champlin Park. Blood would love to track down Abe Olson so they could get a 1-2. Helmrich almost lapping the field here. What an impressive swim that was. 55.04. It's not even his fastest time, but he's going to go by 8 seconds over Olson, who swims a pretty good race. Calvin Smith takes third for Champlin Park. Well, you start to see what all the press clippings are about, and then you read that, you watch that, and you go, okay, I get it now.
Exactly. And as a freshman, too, that's crazy.
Unbelievable, yeah. What is the key? When you get underwater like that, you start going like, obviously you say don't breathe, but like what do you, how do you get that, how are you able to do that and kick and get speed and do all of that?
I mean, when you come off the wall, you're at like the fastest you are almost your whole race. So that push off the wall really helps, and then that helps with dolphin kicks added on to that. Break out really strong.
JV as we get set here to go. We're going with the breaststroke, 100-yard breaststroke.
Now this one's my event.
This is your event right here. So this is we're going to see Stover, Addison Kane, TJ Moronga, Leo Unverzek once again. And what is the specialty of Jessica Jensen here? The breaststroke. Love it.
Yes.
This one on TV always looks a little different. When I watch the Olympics and stuff, it always feels like they're just popping up out of the water, that their arms aren't even really moving, but it's all underneath swimming.
Yeah, I'd say about 90% of the breaststroke is the kick.
So that's the opposite of what you would say the breaststroke, because you're kicking the whole time.
Yeah. If you don't have a good kick, finishing your legs all the way together, you're not going to go very far.
So this is really like everything's got to be working in concert at the same time. Do you have like a rhythm or a count that you get into, or I mean, how does that kind of work for you?
I'd say it takes a lot of time to get a good timing down. I mean,
because it does feel like there's a cadence to the breaststroke.
Yeah, I'd say like once you get it down, it's just almost like riding a bike. Like you just don't forget it.
Interesting. Two Champlin Park swimmers getting the advantage here. Is it Stover and Kane in lanes 2 and 4, ahead of Moronga and Leo Unverzak. Come to the line on this one. 1:24 for young Jamison Stover, under his seed time. Well done. TJ does as well. Everybody gets in underneath. Well done. Everybody runs a little bit, maybe a half second to a second faster than they normally do. Pretty good.
Nice job.
All right, here we go. Event number 22, which is the 100-yard varsity breaststroke. Anoka's pretty much got themselves in a good place now. They are ahead 88-67. Tough to come back at this point for Champlin Park. But we still want to win a race. Jake Pullman in lane 2. Joseph Paulson in 3 for Anoka. Nash Woodward in 4. Wes Anderson in 5 for Anoka. Keep your eye on that. Avery Tran in lane 6. Noah Olson in lane 7. And we're rolling. Anderson gets a nice start. Good start for Wesley Anderson. Makes the turn. Little ground being made up, though, nicely by Nash Woodward, and now it's starting to become a two-horse race. Woodward trying to close the gap on Anderson.
I know Wesley just switched from last year. He just started as a breaststroker. He had a different specialty before that. Not quite sure what it was, but he's been really excited to get in and swim breaststroke tonight.
Interesting to switch that up in the middle, huh? Just say, I'm decided I'm going to do the breaststroke now.
Yeah. Sometimes you never swam an event before, and the coach puts you in, and they're like, wow, you're a natural.
Does feel like a pretty natural fit for Wes Anderson as he has swam a nice race. Woodward trying to close, but it's been about this gap the whole way. And Wes Anderson's going to cruise.
Wesley with the best time right there of about half a second.
I won't make any like Wes Anderson movie jokes like Grand Budapest Hotel or anything like. I'm not gonna make any of those jokes. Not gonna do that. That's too easy, too cheap. Not gonna do it. Nice swim though. You're right for Wesley Anderson. 104 under his time. Woodward under his time as well. Good fast race there. All right, just 2 left. Junior varsity 400-yard free. 2 teams as well. A lot of the usual suspects that we've seen all night. Yeah, Bo Leak and Ben Taylor have had to. Bo Leak now especially, he's had to swim a lot in the back half of this JV tonight. He's been in 2 relays, the 500. The 400-yard. So we're not going quite like the 5, but we are still taking quite a few laps around the pool here. This is going to be an exhausting race.
Oh, it will be.
So this is the free. We're underway. Jasper Brendel, Bo Leak started off. With one more event, Tornadoes look well on their way. Jessica, with that score?
Yeah.
Anoka leads. Is that 95-76? We thought this would be a pretty close match, and it has been at times, but I think we've seen Anoka really start to pull away here in this back half.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the races near the back half are more distance races. I know Anoka has a lot of great distance swimmers. So.
Not a surprise to you then?
No.
I'm surprised at just how young the Champlin Park team is, though. Like, when you look at their roster, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of upperclassmen.
They must have done a really good job of recruiting new swimmers.
Yeah, because it feels like they've got they're littered with 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders.
Yeah, I'd say in about probably 3 years they'll have one of the best teams in the whole conference then.
Well,
if they can get them to stay in it and keep going.
Pretty scared of what Finke and what Helmrich can do in future years.
Yes.
Well, considering how young they are, like just how fast they're going to be able to swim within a couple of years. Relay continues. Champlin Park has opened up a sizable lead. Leak's like, am I done tonight? It's been a long time.
Yeah, she did a great job of stepping up tonight and filling some of those really hard race spots.
Tell you what, it's been a fun night here at the pool. We know we got a couple races left here, but we want to make sure that if you have a chance to get out to a swim meet, there's lots of opportunities with the different section races and all that stuff coming out. If you've got some time, you want to come out and see an event in some warm conditions.
Oh, yeah.
Come to a swim meet. It's great. It's a fun vibe out here. Races move quickly. Support these teams. been a lot of fun. Into the third leg of the pool here for Champlin Park. Young Jabir Ali, freshman. Again, learning how to do this competitively as a freshman. I mean, you tip your cap. That's super cool.
Yes. I feel like it can always be really intimidating going into high school and knowing that you got to join something to make friends. But I always feel like swimming's a great community to join. I feel like everyone's always really nice. All the teams are always really nice. All the camaraderie between
When did you start
everyone.
swimming at the varsity level, like junior varsity, varsity? Were you 7th grade, 8th grade?
Yeah, I swam club for a while, so I was at that point when I joined high school, I was pretty good. I got to be on varsity my 7th grade year, so that was really cool for me.
And I would assume it's made life pretty easy for you to make, you made some friends, but you transitioned into high school already with this big group of high school folks that you knew. Being a freshman can be a little intimidating, but it's nice when you have upperclassmen and people that you know. And
yeah, swimming's really cool in that way where you can join a high school sport as a middle schooler. So when you go into high school, you already have a couple friends.
And the girls start in the summer basically, because they're in the pool in mid-August. And then it jumps right into the guys' season right after. There's really not a lot of waiting around.
Yeah, coaches get about a week break in between the two seasons. So.
And Nicole Hedman, we can't say enough about the fact that she's the coach of both.
Yes.
And so this is a full 6-7 month activity for her. John Thiel, head coach for Champlin Park. Anoka pulled ahead in that last leg. And they're going to find their way to the finish here and win this relay in the JV. See the times up in the corner.
Oh, looks like he has one more 50.
One more 50. This is the anchor leg, Elijah Olson. Colin Kane swimming the anchor for Champlin in this JV race. Oh, lost his spot.
I think his goggles must have opened up.
That can happen.
Yes, and that is never fun.
That's got to be a little bit unsettling to not know where you are. But he's able to recover, and he had enough of a lead that it's not going to hurt him too bad until the line goes Olson.
There we go.
Young 7th grader. And like you talked about, now this 7th grader is having a chance to talk with upperclassmen and swim with them. Crowd's getting loud, the team's getting loud as they try to finish up. And we get to, after that, our final race of the evening, the 400-yard free relay for the varsity. Anoka pretty much has the match clinched.
Yes.
But still an opportunity here for swimmers to get a chance to get a look at Finke and Helmrich one more time for Champlin Park, as they're going to be in lane 4, and they're going to swim the 3rd and 4th leg here. Anoka's going to run with Franke leading off in lane 5 with Erickson, Votek, and Wes Anderson closing as the anchor. The Mayer brothers in lane 6 with Owen Mitchell and Leo Overzak, Chase Robinson, Ben Taylor, Pyre Tristan Holmes in the outside lanes. Should be an interesting one to watch, but lane 4 and 5 I think is where the show is going to be.
Yes. Yeah, so this is one of the best races to watch, not just because you get to be done when it's over, but because they always put the best swimmers in this one.
Franke, who's been every bit as advertised tonight, we knew he was fast, and he has been lightning tonight, and he's out first. Trying to run him down is Vincent Pham, and there's leg 1 as they're on their way. One more trip through for Franke, and you're right, as a sprinter, he's as quick as anybody. We get excited about Helmrich and Finke, but boy, what Dante Franke can do is pretty amazing.
Yes.
A lead for the young 8th grader. Couple yard advantage. They get it to Caleb Erickson, who's also swam a really nice night in all of his events. And they got to make up some ground to the Champlin Park Rebels. Calvin Smith trying to run down Erickson, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Erickson's got a big lead now for the Tornadoes. One more trip around for Erickson.
Great turn right there.
Boy, Caleb's pretty smooth too, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Big lead for Caleb Erickson. Smith in second for Champlin Park.
Yeah, Caleb's one of those cool swimmers that he can sprint and do distance, so.
What a combo, and he has had to put a lot of miles on here in this second half, but he has done great.
Yeah.
Now in is already to the third. It's Richard Votek, the junior. He leads pretty sizable here.
Yeah, about half a pool length. Oh, but Champlin Park looks like they've got a fast sprinter.
They're going to their horses. Henry Finke and Kipton Helmrich will close for Champlin Park, but they got a big gap to make up.
Yeah.
But it's not quite a half of the pool anymore.
No.
Finke has been amazing tonight for Champlin Park. Trying to close this gap even more, but still feels like a long way to go. A nice leg there from Erickson.
Getting down to the last swimmer for Anoka.
Votek,
it's going to get really loud in here.
Yeah, Votek's done with his run, and now the close for Wes Anderson. Wesley Anderson off to a nice start. Helmrich's going to jump in and try to see if he can run him down. And Helmrich is full speed as he quickly makes the turn. I mean, he is explosive for Champlin Park. But Wesley Anderson is off to a great lead, and he is still holding, and it's going to be really hard to close this gap. Tornadoes have really come on strong here in the second half of this meet. And they're going to win this thing going away.
Yep.
Wesley to the line. Got it. 3:32.
Best time for that Anoka relay right there, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting that they went with the speed up front. They put it on Franke to get the lead early for them, and then just kind of had the other guys come in and close. Meanwhile, Champlin Park went the other way, tried to put their speed at the back.
Yeah.
They closed this race.
I think knowing you have a lead when you're behind the blocks and you're looking to get into, ready to dive in, it can be really empowering knowing that you got a good lead.
Definitely, they got what they needed from Dante Franke to get them out ahead, and from that lead, they never looked back. Anoka's still got one group still on the in the pool trying to finish. That's a lot of their JV kids out there swimming in that last leg in lane 7. As Tristan Holmes trying to finish up for the Tornadoes. Teams rise, start chanting loud. Holmes to the wall. And he'll get there. 4:45.69. That was really fun. And Anoka's going to win this thing tonight.
Yep.
We'll get you a final tally here in just a second, but they're definitely going to break 100. This was a fun evening for the Anoka Tornadoes.
Yes, very fun.
Thank you very much.
We do want to say it was Teacher Appreciation Night, so
yes,
we want to say a salute.
Lots of teachers in the stand.
This is why it worked out for me to bring you in. Teacher, bring the student in. You carried me tonight, Jessica. You did such a great job.
Thank you.
That'll wrap up this evening on QCTV. The Anoka Tornadoes get the win. We'll give you the final score here. What do we got, Jessica?
The final score will be Anoka 105, Champlin Park 80.
So Anoka really came on strong there in those last half, those extended races, those long distance races, and those relays really made a difference for them.
Yes.
Well, this was a lot of fun. What's up next for this Anoka Tornado swim team?
I think they have a meet on Saturday.
So we get to turn it right back around, huh? So that'll be a lot of fun. Jessica's got a lot of work to do there, but Jessica's going to be doing speech on Saturday, so not
Yeah.
going to be at the pool.
I'll leave it to the other managers.
Jessica, it was so much fun having you hang out with us tonight on QCTV. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I had so much fun being here.
That was really cool. Thanks again to Emily McCullough for helping me on the dive as well. Thanks to Mark back at the studio here on QCTV. Thanks to Malik as well, running camera for us. He did such a nice job, and we hope you enjoyed this here on QCTV. We really love bringing you a sport we don't always bring you on QCTV, so it was really fun to have this tonight. Hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to do a little more of it in the future. So that'll do it, thanks for everybody watching on QCTV. On behalf of everybody, I'm Tim Anderson saying keep your head up. We'll see you next time.